There is no truth, there is only perception. This realism should be expected of Gustave Flaubert, the author of the famed Madame Bovary. While reading the book is in my bucket list, this quote is familiar to me, and for about 2 years, reminding me of the teaching and learning of trigonometry and calculus. For most, trigonometry is literally the last straw in secondary school years' struggle to keep afloat. Sine, cosine, and tan are too alien to even deserve a look. But this is just perception. To me, the only truth about trigonometry is that it has not been storied, it is mechanistically presented, and textbooks and teaching is riddled with holes. It is a sad commentary on mathematics education, as well as humankind's disregard for the childhood phase of development. Here are just some of the missing pillars in trigonometry education. Why triangles are such important figures. How come trigonometry is so centered on right triangles? Why trigonometry is so absent in everyday life? Why trigonometric functions are defined for angle to ratio conversion and not the other way around? Where does the unit circle pops up in trigonometry? Indeed, these and more questions must be placed in perspective for truth about trigonometry to be revealed. Perspective for truth to be revealed on trigonometry. There is more to the miseducation of trigonometry, the surgical separation of trigonometry from triangles. To the best of the students in schools, the central and beneficial role of trigonometry in complex numbers, force and vectors, exponentials, periodic motion, etc. is perplexing to say the least. Without further ado, let us step on the 10-lesson-long trigonometry exploration. The first 4 are foundational for the secondary years. However, before we get to the first lesson, we may feel more settled if we get a glimpse of what to expect ahead. To that end, 5 quotable quotes on why, what, and how of trigonometry follows. It is heartening to know that astronomy is one of the most important drivers of development of mathematics. Early mathematical entities and computations were driven towards understanding phases of the moon, stars, and their relative positions, seasons, cyclic year, etc. And basic trigonometry was the first of those early mathematics developed to explain and gain from astronomical computations. The reason a bridge is static, sturdy, and without undue friction of its parts is that the forces in action on it finally balance out, that is, cancel each other out. Engineers routinely use trigonometry to micro-study forces by decomposing the forces into horizontal and vertical components that is then very assertively analyzed. All over China, parents tell their children to stop complaining and to finish their quadratic equations and trigonometric functions because there are 65 million American kids going to bed with no math at all. How can it be that mathematics, being after all a product of human thought, independent of experience, is so admirably adapted to the objects of reality? 2 of the most important function classes are exponential and trigonometric functions. She can tell you the height of the attacker from the trigonometry of the blood spatter, while I'm fuzzy on what trigonometry is. Ultimately, that's really what the book is. A series of stories about how a lot of the apparently non-mathematical systems that underpin our daily lives are actually deeply mathematical, and people couldn't develop them until they started asking the right questions. Trigonometry is a significant approximation of a good part of our real world, and thus calculus and physics too. However, its perception is misplaced. It needs a new and inclusive narrative. Trigonometry must be mastered for applications in science, technology, and engineering. Thank you. With us, you will master all the mathematics you need. Be good to you, not just others.